The Lion of the Afterlife, Guardians of Death and Rebirth in Ancient Egypt.
In ancient Egypt, even death had a guardian, and that guardian roared. The roar beyond the tomb was not one of destruction, but of protection. The Egyptians saw the lion, a creature of fearsome strength, as a sentinel of the horizon where the sun rose and set each day. This daily cycle of death and rebirth was the journey every soul hoped to make. Mighty lion gods, like Aker, who guarded the gates to the underworld, ensured the pharaoh's safe passage through the darkness of night, promising a glorious dawn in the afterlife. The tombs whisper of power, their walls covered in images of leonine deities. These depictions were more than just art. They were divine incantations carved in stone. By invoking the lion's ferocity, the deceased were shielded from the chaos and dangers lurking in the netherworld. From the Sphinx guarding the pyramids to the lion-headed goddesses, the message was clear. To be reborn into eternity, one needed the sacred might of the lion on their side, a celestial guardian whose roar echoed into the next life. Have you ever wondered why lions appear so often in ancient Egyptian art? It's not just because they were majestic predators. For the ancient Egyptians, the lion was a powerful symbol guarding the very threshold between life, death, and rebirth. Imagine the horizon at sunrise and sunset. The Egyptians saw this as a gateway, and who better to guard it than two powerful lions, facing opposite directions? This divine pair was known as Aker. One lion faced west, where the sun died each evening, representing the end of life. The other faced east, where the sun was reborn each morning, symbolizing resurrection. They weren't just guardians of the sun. They were protectors of the deceased's soul, ensuring a safe passage through the underworld and into a new life. Ever wondered why lions pop up so much in ancient Egyptian art, especially around tombs and temples? It's not just because they look majestic. In the land of the pharaohs, lions were the ultimate symbols of vigilance and protection. Imagine the vast unforgiving desert stretching out on either side of the Nile. At the edges of this known world, at the eastern and western horizons where the sun rose and set, the Egyptians envisioned a pair of lions. These weren't just any lions. They were the Aker, guardians of the gates to the underworld. They watched over the sun's perilous nightly journey, ensuring it would be reborn each morning. So every time you see a lion statue, think of it as a powerful guardian, eternally watching over the cycle of death and rebirth. Ever wondered why lions were so revered in ancient Egypt? It wasn't just for their strength. They were seen as powerful guardians of the afterlife. Imagine the sun setting in the west and rising in the east. This daily cycle was represented by two lions sitting back to back. One lion faced the sunset, guarding the entrance to the underworld, the Duat. The other faced the sunrise, symbolizing rebirth and new beginnings. Together, they were known as Aker, the divine protector of the king's journey through the darkness. These weren't just mythical beasts. They were the gatekeepers of eternity, ensuring the soul's safe passage from death to rebirth. They held the secrets of both yesterday and tomorrow in their powerful gaze. Ever gazed at the sun and felt its immense power? The ancient Egyptians did, and they saw that same fiery strength roaring within the majestic lion. To them, the lion wasn't just a powerful predator. It was a living symbol of the sun god, Ra. This connection was so deep they believed the lion held the very essence of solar fire within its being. Think about it. The golden mane like the sun's rays, the thunderous roar echoing divine authority. This wasn't just poetry. It was a core belief. The lion was the earthly embodiment of the sun's life-giving and destructive power, a guardian of the cosmic order. This solar connection is the key to understanding why lions became the ultimate protectors of the afterlife, a role we'll explore further. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. When you think of ancient Egypt and the afterlife, you probably picture jackals like Anubis, or maybe even crocodiles. But did you know that the lion was one of the most powerful guardians of death and rebirth? For the ancient Egyptians, death wasn't an end, but a transformation, a dangerous journey to a new beginning. And who better to guard this perilous path than the king of beasts? The lion, with its immense strength and solar connections, symbolized the horizon, the place where the sun would die each night and be reborn each morning. This powerful creature stood as a sentinel at the gateway between the world of the living and the realm of the dead, ensuring the deceased could safely navigate their passage to eternal life. It was a symbol not of finality, but of resurrection. In the golden sands of ancient Egypt, one sound was believed to echo through eternity: the roar of the lion. But this wasn't just a symbol of earthly power. It was the key to the afterlife. The Egyptians saw the lion not just as a fierce hunter, but as a divine guardian of the horizon, the very place where the sun was born and died each day. This connected the lion directly to the cycle of death and rebirth. Imagine this. A soul, newly departed, stands at the threshold of the underworld. It is the lion-headed god Aker who guards this gateway. His two heads face opposite directions, one watching the sunset of the past and the other, the sunrise of the future. The roar of the lion was said to be the very force that could awaken the dormant soul, empowering it to begin its perilous journey towards eternal life. It was a roar of passage, a sound of both ending and beginning. Have you ever wondered why lions prowl through the art of ancient Egypt, a land we often associate with cats and crocodiles? These weren't just majestic beasts. They were powerful symbols carved in stone but truly alive in spirit. The ancient Egyptians saw the lion as a fierce guardian, a symbol of royal power and divine authority. But their role went even deeper, into the mysterious realm of the afterlife. They were the sentinels of the horizon, where the sun would die and be reborn each day. This dual nature made the lion the perfect guardian of death and rebirth. Figures like the Sphinx, with its lion's body and human head, stood watch over sacred sites, protecting the secrets of the pharaoh's journey into eternity. They were the eternal protectors, ensuring a safe passage from this life to the next. Have you ever wondered why lions, those kings of the savannah, were so revered in ancient Egypt? It wasn't just about their raw power in the desert. For the Egyptians, the lion was a profound symbol, a guardian straddling the worlds of the living and the dead. Imagine the sun rising and setting over the dunes. The Egyptians saw this daily cycle mirrored in the lion. They associated lions with the horizon, the place of both death and rebirth. Two lions, facing opposite directions, formed the symbol known as Aker. One guarded the entrance to the underworld, where the sun god Ra disappeared each night, while the other guarded the exit, ensuring his glorious rebirth every morning. These weren't just fearsome beasts. They were cosmic keepers of eternity, ensuring the sun would always rise again. Hello history lovers and welcome back. Today, we're journeying to the sun-scorched lands of ancient Egypt, but we're not just looking at pyramids. We're delving into the powerful symbolism of the lion. Have you ever wondered why so many pharaohs are depicted alongside these majestic beasts? In ancient Egypt, the lion wasn't just a symbol of royal power. It was a divine guardian of the afterlife. With eyes that seemed to burn with the fire of the sun god Re, the lion was seen as a protector of the soul's perilous journey. They believed lions patrolled the boundaries between the living world and the next, representing both the sunset of death and the sunrise of rebirth. This dual nature made them the ultimate protectors of the cycle of life and death. The famous Sphinx, with its lion's body, is a perfect example of this eternal watchfulness. Have you ever wondered why lions, creatures of the sun-drenched savannah, were so deeply connected to the afterlife in ancient Egypt? It is a fascinating story that bridges the world of the living and the realm of the dead. For the Egyptians, the lion wasn't just a powerful hunter. It was a divine guardian. They saw the lion as a symbol of the horizon, the place where the sun would set and then rise again each day. This daily cycle of death and rebirth was central to their beliefs. The lion, therefore, became the perfect protector for the soul's perilous journey through the underworld, ensuring its safe passage and ultimate rebirth into the eternal afterlife. It stood as a powerful sentinel, guarding the secrets of eternity. Ever wondered why lions prowl the walls of ancient Egyptian tombs? These aren't just symbols of royal power. They are the fierce guardians of the afterlife itself. Imagine stepping into a silent tomb, the air thick with history. On the walls, you see powerful lions, not just as hunters, but as protectors of the soul's perilous journey. In ancient Egypt, the lion embodied both terrifying destruction and protective strength. They were linked to the horizon, the place of sunrise and sunset, symbolizing the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. These magnificent beasts were believed to stand guard at the gates of the underworld, ensuring a safe passage for the pharaohs into the next life. They were the ultimate bouncers of the afterlife. So, next time you see a lion in Egyptian art, remember you're looking at a guardian of eternity. Ever wondered why ancient Egyptians were so obsessed with lions? It wasn't just because they were fierce hunters. To them, the lion was a powerful symbol, a guardian of the cosmos itself. Imagine the sun god, Ra, sailing across the sky during the day. But what happens when night falls and he journeys through the treacherous underworld? That's where the lions come in. They were seen as the protectors of the sun on its perilous nightly voyage, battling the forces of chaos and darkness. Their strength ensured that the sun would rise again, that order would be restored, and that life would continue. These weren't just animals. They were divine sentinels, holding the very balance of life and death in their powerful paws. Ever wondered why lions were so revered in ancient Egypt? It wasn't just about their raw power. It was about balance. The Egyptians saw the lion as a creature of perfect equilibrium, a guardian of the cosmic order. This is most vividly seen in the god Aker, an ancient earth deity often depicted as two lions seated back to back. One lion faced west, guarding the entrance to the underworld where the sun god Ra would set each evening. The other faced east, watching over the horizon for Ra's rebirth at dawn. Together, they symbolized the entire cycle of death and rebirth, yesterday and tomorrow. They held the delicate balance between night and day, life and the afterlife. This powerful imagery shows us that for the ancient Egyptians, the lion wasn't just a hunter, but a divine keeper of the universe's most sacred cycle. Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the veil of death? The ancient Egyptians did, and they imagined a powerful guardian standing at the gateway, the lion. Far more than just a fierce hunter, the lion was a profound symbol of death and, more importantly, rebirth. They saw the sun god Ra, who died every evening in the west and was reborn every morning in the east, represented by two lions facing opposite directions. This divine creature, known as Aker, guarded the horizon, the very threshold between the underworld and the world of the living. So the next time you see a statue of a lion, remember its ancient secret. It's not just a king of beasts, but a keeper of eternal cycles. Have you ever wondered what ancient Egyptians saw in the fierce gaze of a lion? It wasn't just a predator. It was a divine guardian of life's greatest mystery, the afterlife. In the blistering desert, they saw Sekhmet, the lioness goddess, whose breath was the scorching wind. But she wasn't just a force of destruction. They believed her fiery power burned away the darkness and evil that threatened the dead on their journey, purifying their souls for rebirth. She was the lioness who burned away death itself. From this intense, protective fire, another deity was born. They envisioned a gentler yet equally powerful, divine flame in the form of a cat goddess, often linked to the sun's life-giving warmth. This transformation from a fearsome lioness to a nurturing protector symbolizes the incredible Egyptian belief in regeneration. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, the lion wasn't just the king of the savannah, but also a powerful guardian of the afterlife? Imagine the sun rising and setting for the Egyptians. This daily miracle was guarded by lions. They believed a pair of lions called the Aker sat back to back, watching over the entrance and exit of the underworld. One faced west, where the sun god Ra descended into darkness each night, and the other faced east, awaiting his glorious rebirth at dawn. These weren't just statues. They were cosmic gatekeepers, symbols of the endless cycle of death and resurrection. They ensured that every soul, just like the sun, could safely navigate the dangers of the night and be reborn into the light. So next time you see a lion statue, remember its ancient sacred duty. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, the lion wasn't just the king of the savannah, but also a fierce guardian of the afterlife? Imagine a soul journeying through the underworld, facing trials and tribulations. Who stands guard at the gates, protecting the sacred from the corrupt? The lion. With its immense power, the lion was seen as a destroyer of evil, a divine force that purged corruption and ensured only the worthy could pass into the realm of rebirth. It wasn't just a symbol of royal power on earth. It was the ultimate protector of cosmic order. The lion's roar didn't just echo across the desert. It echoed through the very fabric of life, death, and resurrection. Have you ever wondered why lions prowl through the art of ancient Egypt? It's not just because they were the fiercest hunters on the Nile. For the Egyptians, the lion was a powerful symbol, a guardian straddling the very edge of life and death. Imagine the sun setting over the desert, painting the horizon in shades of orange and red, much like blood on the sand. This daily event was seen as the sun god Ra's journey into the underworld, and who guarded this perilous passage? Two lions, known as the Aker, facing opposite directions. One watched over yesterday, the other guarded tomorrow. They were the keepers of the eternal cycle, ensuring that death was not an end, but simply a gateway to rebirth. These weren't just animals. They were cosmic forces, the very embodiment of death and resurrection. Camera pans across dramatic hieroglyphs of lion-headed deities. In the land of pyramids and pharaohs, death was not an end, but a perilous journey. And who were the fearsome guardians of this sacred passage? Not jackals or crocodiles alone, but the mighty lion. The ancient Egyptians saw the lion not just as a king of beasts, but as a symbol of divine power, a guardian of both the rising and setting sun, the very cycle of life, death, and rebirth. They were the sentinels of the horizon, the place where the sun vanished and reappeared. But one lion-headed god held a unique and terrifying power over the afterlife, a figure whose roar could echo through the halls of judgment. This was the turning of the tide, where the soul's fate was decided under the watchful eyes of a leonine deity. Stick around as we uncover the story of these powerful protectors. Ever wonder why lions, these powerful hunters, were so revered in ancient Egypt? It's a fascinating story of transformation. Initially, the lioness goddess Sekhmet represented pure, unbridled fury, a destructive force feared by all. But ancient Egyptians also saw another side to this mighty creature. They believed the same power that could destroy could also protect and heal. So Sekhmet's fierce nature was softened, and she also became a goddess of healing and protection. This duality is amazing, right? Lions became guardians, not just of the living but of the dead. They were often depicted guarding the gates of the underworld, ensuring a safe passage for souls into the afterlife. They stood at the horizon, watching over the cycle of sunset and sunrise, symbolizing death and rebirth. From raw power to a symbol of eternal life, that's the journey of the lion in ancient Egypt. Ever wondered how ancient Egyptians faced the ultimate unknown? They didn't just hope for the best. They had divine guardians, and none were more formidable than the lion-headed goddess Sekhmet. More than just a fearsome warrior, she was a crucial figure in the journey through the afterlife. The deceased would face a perilous path, filled with demons and trials. But Sekhmet's role was unique. It was believed her fiery breath, the very same that could bring plagues upon the living, had a dual nature. For the worthy soul, this breath transformed into a purifying flame. It wasn't destruction. It was a cleansing fire, burning away all impurities and sins from their earthly life. This prepared them to stand pure before Osiris and enter the eternal paradise. So next time you see Sekhmet, remember she's not just the goddess of war, but also a powerful agent of rebirth. Ever wondered who watched over the sacred process of mummification in ancient Egypt? It wasn't just the priests. Imagine a dimly lit chamber, the air thick with incense and natron. Standing guard, a powerful, silent figure, the lioness. For the ancient Egyptians, lions were symbols of fierce protection and royalty. But their role didn't end with the living. During the 70-day embalming ritual, it was believed that lioness deities like Sekhmet stood vigil. They weren't just guarding the body from physical threats. They were warding off malevolent spirits that could disrupt the soul's journey to the afterlife. Their presence ensured the deceased could be reborn whole and protected in the field of reeds. It was a divine security detail, ensuring the path to eternity was safe. Video opens with dramatic visuals of Egyptian tomb paintings focusing on lion imagery. Have you ever wondered why lions prowl through the art of ancient Egyptian tombs? They weren't just symbols of royal power. They were the fierce guardians of the afterlife, embodying both destruction and rebirth. In the dark, silent world of the tomb, the lion represented a terrifying yet essential force. Imagine this: the Egyptians believed the deceased had to face a fiery trial, a gate of flame, to be reborn. And who guarded this gate? The lion god Aker, a double lion deity who represented both yesterday and tomorrow, sunset and sunrise. By passing through the lion's fiery domain, the soul was purified, shedding its earthly form to emerge reborn. Just like the sun rising anew each morning. These weren't just decorations. They were a roadmap to eternity, with the lion as the fearsome gatekeeper to a new dawn. In the heart of ancient Egypt, serving the fierce lion-headed goddess Sekhmet was a task of immense power and peril. Enter the priestesses of Sekhmet, not just spiritual guides but crucial figures balancing destruction and healing. Sekhmet, the powerful one, was the goddess of plague and war but also of medicine and protection. Her priestesses had the unique, dangerous duty of appeasing her fiery wrath to prevent widespread disaster. Through daily rituals, music, and offerings, especially during festivals, they would soothe the goddess's spirit. They were healers, using their divine connection to understand diseases and create cures. These remarkable women stood at the very edge of life and death, channeling the power of the lioness to both protect and restore balance to the land of the pharaohs. Have you ever wondered why lions, creatures of the sun-drenched savanna, were linked to the afterlife in ancient Egypt? It all comes down to a fascinating duality. The Egyptians saw the lion as a symbol of both destruction and protection, a powerful force of nature. This is perfectly captured in their concept of fire. On one hand, the lion's fiery rage was embodied by goddesses like Sekhmet, who could unleash plagues and devastation. Her breath was the scorching desert wind, a destructive fire that consumed life. But on the other hand, this same fiery power offered protection. Lions were seen as guardians of the horizon, the points where the sun was reborn each day. Their fierce presence was believed to ward off the chaotic forces of darkness, ensuring the sun's safe passage and, by extension, the cycle of death and rebirth for all souls. So this majestic beast was both a terrifying end and a powerful protector, a true guardian of life's greatest journey. Ever noticed how lions prowl through ancient Egyptian art? They weren't just symbols of royal power. They were sacred guardians of life's greatest journey, the passage into the afterlife. To the ancient Egyptians, death wasn't an end, but a transition, and the lion was the ultimate protector on this perilous path. Imagine the sun setting in the west, a realm they associated with death. Who guarded this gateway? The mighty lion. Often depicted in pairs, back to back, they were known as the Aker. One faced west, watching over the dying sun and the souls entering the underworld. The other faced east, guarding the sunrise and the promise of rebirth. These weren't just statues. They were divine bouncers at the door between worlds, ensuring that the soul's journey was safe from chaos. So the next time you see an Egyptian lion, remember, it's not just a king of the jungle, but a guardian of eternity. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Ever wonder how the ancient Egyptians protected themselves in both life and the afterlife? Well, they had some seriously powerful help. Let's talk about the incredible golden amulets of Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of healing and destruction. These weren't just pretty pieces of jewelry. For the ancient Egyptians, these amulets were potent shields. They believed that wearing an image of Sekhmet, often crafted from shining gold or faience, could ward off disease, evil spirits, and all sorts of danger. Imagine having the ferocity of a lioness protecting you. In the afterlife, these amulets were even more crucial. Placed on a mummy, they ensured the deceased was guarded on their perilous journey through the underworld, guaranteeing a safe rebirth. It's a fascinating look at how faith and art combine to offer eternal protection. Have you ever wondered what happens after the fire of life burns out? In the silent aftermath, ancient Egyptians didn't see an end, but a new beginning, guarded by a powerful and mysterious figure, the lion. For them, the lion wasn't just a king of the savannah. It was a divine guardian of the horizon, the place where the sun died each night and was reborn each morning. This powerful creature symbolized both the fierce finality of death and the glorious promise of rebirth. The twin lions, known as the Aker, sat back to back, one facing west towards the sunset and the land of the dead, the other facing east towards the sunrise and new life. They held the secrets of yesterday and tomorrow, ensuring the sun's safe passage through the treacherous underworld. They were the silent sentinels, the keepers of eternity's cycle. Join us as we explore more ancient mysteries. In the sun-scorched lands of ancient Egypt, a fearsome deity roamed, her breath the scorching desert wind and her roar the thunder of battle. This was Sekhmet, the lioness-headed goddess, a figure of both terror and reverence. She was the mighty Eye of Ra, sent to punish humanity, but also a powerful protector and healer. Her priests were among the most skilled physicians of the time, understanding that the one who could bring plague could also bring the cure. As a guardian of the afterlife, Sekhmet's fiery spirit offered a fierce defense for the pharaohs in their journey through the underworld, ensuring their rebirth. Her duality reminds us that even in the fiercest of powers, there lies a potential for profound healing and protection. She is the eternal flame, a symbol of destruction and a beacon of life. In the sun-scorched lands of ancient Egypt, a fearsome deity roamed, her breath the scorching desert wind and her roar the thunder of battle. This was Sekhmet, the lioness-headed goddess, a figure of both terror and reverence. She was the mighty Eye of Ra, sent to punish humanity, but also a powerful protector and healer. Her priests were among the most skilled physicians of the time, understanding that the one who could bring plague could also bring the cure. As a guardian of the afterlife, Sekhmet's fiery spirit offered a fierce defense for the pharaohs in their journey through the underworld, ensuring their rebirth. Her duality reminds us that even in the fiercest of powers, there lies a potential for profound healing and protection. She is the eternal flame, a symbol of destruction and a beacon of life. Ever wondered why ancient Egyptians were so fascinated with lions? It wasn't just about their power. For them, lions held the keys to the universe, guarding the very cycle of life and death. Meet the Aker, a pair of majestic lions seated back to back. One faced west, where the sun died each evening, and the other faced east, where it was reborn each morning. They weren't just statues. They were the guardians of the horizon, the ultimate symbols of yesterday and tomorrow. By protecting the sun on its nightly journey through the underworld, these lion gods ensured a new day would always dawn. They were the sentinels of eternity, watching over every soul's passage from death to rebirth. So next time you see an ancient Egyptian lion, remember it's more than just a powerful beast, it's a guardian of existence itself. In the ancient world of Egypt, a powerful guardian stood watch over the most sacred of thresholds, the horizon, the boundary between yesterday and tomorrow, life and death. This guardian was the lion, a symbol of immense power and royalty. But this wasn't just any lion. This was Aker, the double lion god. Imagine two lions seated back to back. One faces west, into the sunset, guarding the entrance to the underworld where the sun god Re would journey each night. The other faces east, towards the sunrise, protecting Ra's rebirth into the new day. Together, they symbolized the entire cycle of death and resurrection. They held the sun disk aloft, representing their control over the passage of time itself. Aker wasn't just a gatekeeper. He was the embodiment of the eternal rhythm of the cosmos, the silent, powerful sentinel of yesterday and tomorrow. Ever wondered why ancient Egyptians were so fascinated with lions? It's not just because they were powerful hunters. For them, the lion was a symbol of something much deeper, the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. Picture this. The sun sets in the west, and ancient Egyptians believed it entered the underworld, a dangerous realm of darkness. Who guarded this treacherous journey? Two lions, known as Aker, facing opposite directions. One watched over the sunset, the gateway to death, while the other guarded the sunrise, the moment of rebirth. They were the guardians of the horizon, ensuring the sun god Re could safely pass through the night and rise again, bringing a new day. These weren't just statues. They were cosmic gatekeepers, embodying the transition from one life to the next. Ever wondered how ancient Egyptians imagined the journey after death? It wasn't just a one-way trip into darkness. For them, it was a cycle, a cosmic dance of sunset and sunrise, death and rebirth. And guarding this incredible journey was a powerful double lion deity known as Aker. Imagine this, two lions seated back to back. One gazes at the setting sun, where the day ends, representing yesterday and the entrance to the underworld. The other faces the rising sun, the dawn of a new day, symbolizing tomorrow and rebirth. Between them, they cradle the sun disk as it travels through the night. Aker wasn't just a gatekeeper. He was the very horizon, the portal between the world of the living and the promise of a new beginning. He ensured the sun would rise again, and that every soul would have its chance at eternity. Have you ever wondered why you see so many lion statues guarding the gates of ancient Egyptian temples? It's not just for show. In ancient Egypt, the lion was a powerful symbol, not just of royalty and strength, but of something much more profound: the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Think about the horizon. The Egyptians saw two lions sitting back to back, guarding the points where the sun would rise and set each day. This wasn't just about the sun. It represented the entire journey of life. One lion faced yesterday, the past, while the other looked towards tomorrow, the future. They were the guardians of eternity, ensuring the sun would be reborn each morning, just as they believed the soul would be reborn in the afterlife. In ancient Egypt, the roar of a lion wasn't just a sound. It was the echo of creation itself, a force that could split the sky and shake the very foundations of the world. But this magnificent beast held a deeper, more mystical role. It was a guardian of the most sacred transition, the journey between life and death. Picture this. Two lions seated back to back, one facing the sunrise, the other the sunset. This powerful image, known as the Aker, symbolized yesterday and tomorrow, guarding the horizon through which the sun god Ra traveled each night into the underworld. They were the keepers of the gateway to the afterlife, ensuring the cycle of death and rebirth continued uninterrupted. By protecting the sun's perilous journey, these lions guaranteed a new dawn for both the gods and the souls of the deceased. Have you ever wondered what ancient Egyptians believed happened after death? It wasn't just about mummies and pyramids. Let's talk about Aker, a fascinating and powerful guardian of the underworld. Picture this. Two lions seated back to back, one facing the sunset, representing yesterday, and the other facing the sunrise, representing tomorrow. This was Aker, the embodiment of the horizon. Aker's job was crucial. He guarded the very gates of the underworld, the entrance and exit through which the sun god Re and the souls of the deceased had to pass each day. As the sunboat journeyed through the darkness of night, Aker's fierce presence protected it from the monstrous serpent Apep. He ensured the sun would rise again, symbolizing rebirth and resurrection. Have you ever wondered why lions appear so frequently in ancient Egyptian art? It's not just because they were powerful predators. For the ancient Egyptians, the lion was a profound symbol, a guardian straddling the delicate balance between life and death. They observed lions resting during the heat of the day and hunting at dawn and dusk, the magical twilight hours. This led to a fascinating belief. Lions were the keepers of the horizon, the gateway between yesterday and tomorrow. The god Aker, often depicted as two lions back to back, literally represented this concept. One lion faced west, swallowing the setting sun of yesterday, while the other faced east, ready to birth the new sun of tomorrow. They weren't just guarding the physical world. They were safeguarding the entire cycle of death and rebirth, ensuring the sun would rise again each day. So the next time you see an Egyptian lion statue, remember you're looking at a guardian of eternity itself. Have you ever wondered why lions prowl through the art of ancient Egypt? They weren't just kings of the savannah. They were seen as eternal watchers, powerful guardians of the most sacred cycle, death and rebirth. Imagine the horizon at sunrise and sunset. The ancient Egyptians saw this as a gateway, a magical place where day turned to night and life transitioned to the afterlife. And who guarded these mystical gates? The twin lions, known as Aka. One faced the dawn, representing rebirth, while the other faced the dusk, symbolizing the journey into the underworld. These weren't just mythical beasts. They were a profound symbol of protection. By guarding the sun on its nightly journey through the darkness, the Aker lions ensured it would rise again, bringing new life and hope. They were the eternal sentinels, guaranteeing the continuity of existence itself. Have you ever wondered why lions are so common in ancient Egyptian art, especially around tombs? It's because they were seen as the ultimate guardians of the afterlife. Imagine the vast desert landscape. Lions were the undisputed kings, symbols of fierce power and royalty. The ancient Egyptians believed this power didn't just end with life. They'd placed lion statues at the entrances of temples and tombs, not just as decoration, but as powerful protectors. These weren't just lions. They were a divine force, warding off evil spirits and ensuring the deceased's safe passage into the next world. They were the sentinels standing guard between the land of the living and the realm of the dead, a symbol of eternal protection. Ever wondered how the ancient Egyptians pictured the very earth beneath their feet? They didn't just see soil and rock. They saw a powerful divine being. Meet Aker, the lion god who literally was the earth. Imagine two lions back to back, one facing the sunrise and the other the sunset. This was Aker, guarding the entrance and exit of the underworld, the very gateway through which the sun god Re traveled each night. Aker wasn't just a gatekeeper. He was the horizon itself, the meeting point of day and night, life and death. His body formed the tunnel of the underworld, a mysterious path of rebirth. So when the Egyptians spoke of the ground, they were speaking of Aker, the primal, ancient deity who held the secrets of the cosmos within his earthy form. Ever noticed how lions pop up everywhere in ancient Egypt? It's not just because they're fierce. They were seen as masters of time itself. Picture this. Two lions back to back, facing opposite horizons. This image, known as Aker, represented yesterday and tomorrow, the sunset and the sunrise. One lion guarded the entrance to the underworld, where the sun god Ra disappeared each night. The other watched over the eastern horizon, awaiting his rebirth at dawn, so the lion wasn't just a symbol of raw power. It was the guardian of the entire cycle of death and rebirth, the keeper of eternity's gate. It's a powerful reminder that every ending is just a new beginning. Ever wonder why ancient Egyptians were so obsessed with lions? It wasn't just because they were fierce hunters. In their mythology, lions held the keys to the universe itself. Imagine two lions sitting back to back. One faces the sunset, representing yesterday, and the other faces the sunrise, symbolizing tomorrow. These lions, known as Aker, guarded the horizon, the gateway between the underworld and the world of the living. Every single night, the sun god Ra had to journey through the treacherous darkness of the underworld. The Aker lions were his protectors, ensuring his safe passage. As Reo emerged from the eastern horizon at dawn, it was seen as a powerful act of rebirth, guaranteed by these mighty feline guardians. Have you ever wondered what the ancient Egyptians believed happened after death? It wasn't just about pyramids and mummies. It was a profound journey, guarded by powerful mythical beasts. Among the most fascinating was the Aker, a double lion god who represented the horizon itself. Imagine this: two lions, seated back to back. One faces east, towards the sunrise and new beginnings. The other faces west, towards the sunset and the end of the day. Between them, they held the sun disk, symbolizing the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. When the pharaoh passed, his soul would travel through the underworld, and it was Aker who guarded the gateway. By protecting the sun on its nightly journey, Aker ensured it would rise again, promising a new dawn not just for the world, but for the soul of the deceased. It was the ultimate symbol of resurrection. In the vast realm of ancient Egyptian mythology, the lion wasn't just a king of the savannah. It was a formidable guardian of the afterlife. Imagine journeying into the underworld, your heart heavy with the deeds of a lifetime. You arrive at the Hall of Truth, the final courtroom, where your soul faces the ultimate judgment. Here, under the watchful gaze of deities, some with the fearsome head of a lion, your heart is weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth and justice. These lion-headed guardians weren't just statues. They were cosmic enforcers, ensuring that only the worthy could pass. Their presence symbolized immense power and protection, a final fiery test before one could achieve eternal rebirth. They were the silent, powerful sentinels at the gateway between death and paradise. Ever wondered what the ancient Egyptians believed happened after you died? It wasn't just about pyramids and mummies. It was a journey, and a terrifying trial awaited you, the weighing of the heart. Imagine this: you stand in the Hall of Two Truths. Your heart, the very essence of your soul, is placed on one side of a golden scale. On the other side, a single pure feather of Mat, the goddess of truth and justice, but you're not alone. Watching over this critical moment are powerful leonine deities. Figures like Aker, the double lion god who guarded the horizon, representing the gateway between yesterday and tomorrow, death and rebirth. They were the fierce guardians of this sacred process, ensuring that only the worthy could pass. In the silent halls of the afterlife, where shadows dance and souls are weighed, a figure of immense power stands sentinel. This isn't just any guardian, but Anubis, the jackal-headed god, the ultimate arbiter of the dead. Imagine stepping into the Hall of Two Truths, your heart in hand, ready to be judged. It is Anubis who guides you, ensuring your heart is weighed against the feather of Mat, the symbol of truth and justice. He is the embalmer, the protector of tombs, and the steadfast guide for every soul embarking on its final greatest journey. His presence is a solemn promise that even in death, you are not alone. He is the gatekeeper, the silent watcher, ensuring that the sacred passage from life to rebirth is honored and protected. In the grand theater of ancient Egyptian mythology, have you ever wondered who stood as the ultimate guardian of cosmic order? It wasn't just the pharaohs or the gods with human faces. Meet Sekhmet, the lioness-headed goddess, a figure of both immense power and profound justice. Her name literally means the powerful one, and she was a force to be reckoned with. Egyptians saw her not as a mindless destroyer, but as the fierce enforcer of Mat, the divine principle of truth, balance, and order. When chaos threatened the world, it was Sekhmet who stepped in, her leonine fury a righteous fire cleansing the land of imbalance. She was the divine protector of the righteous and the swift punisher of the wicked, a terrifying yet necessary force that kept the universe in harmony. Ever wondered why ancient Egyptians were so fascinated by lions? It wasn't just about their raw power. They saw something deeper, something divine. In the land of pyramids and pharaohs, the lion was a powerful symbol of the afterlife, a guardian of death and rebirth. Imagine this: two lions seated back to back guarding the horizon. One faces the setting sun, representing yesterday and death. The other faces the rising sun, symbolizing tomorrow and new life. Together, they formed the Aker, the sacred gateway to the underworld. They were the keepers of the eternal cycle, their gaze piercing through time itself. Hey everyone, welcome back to our deep dive into the mysteries of ancient Egypt. Today, we're exploring the fierce and fiery side of the lion goddess, Tefnut. You might know her as the goddess of moisture and rain, but did you know she had a temper that could scorch the earth? When enraged, Tefnut would transform into a fearsome lioness and unleash her divine fury. This wasn't just a tantrum. It was a cosmic event known as the Fire of Tefnut. This blaze represented both destruction and the necessary power to protect order, Ormat from the forces of chaos. She was a creator and a destroyer, embodying the intense, dual nature of the Egyptian gods. Ever felt your heart tremble with fear? The ancient Egyptians believed this feeling had cosmic significance. For them, the journey into the afterlife was a perilous trial, and your heart was the key. They believed the heart, not the brain, held your memories, your intelligence, and your very essence. At the final judgment, your heart was weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth and justice. If your heart, heavy with misdeeds, outweighed the feather, it was devoured by a terrifying creature, part lion, part hippo, part crocodile named Ammit. This meant a second final death. But the lion's role wasn't just about destruction. The twin lions, Aker, guarded the horizons, the very points of sunset and sunrise. They were the guardians of both yesterday and tomorrow, death and rebirth. So the lion was both a fearsome judge and a powerful protector on the soul's eternal journey. In the heart of ancient Egypt, where the sun god Ra ruled the day, another power awakened as darkness fell. This was the era of the lion, a creature seen not just as a hunter, but as a guardian of the most sacred journey, the passage into the afterlife. Imagine this. As the souls of the departed ventured through the perilous underworld, they faced trials and tribulations. But they weren't entirely alone. The lion, with its fierce and noble presence, stood as a protector. It was believed that the lion's fiery breath could both destroy evil spirits and purify the worthy, a concept known as the flame of mercy. This divine fire didn't just burn. It cleansed, ensuring a safe passage and the promise of rebirth. The lion was a symbol of strength and courage, a divine bodyguard for eternity. In the vast realm of ancient Egyptian beliefs, death wasn't an end, but a perilous journey towards rebirth. And who guarded this liminal space between worlds? The mighty lion. Often depicted as the twin gods Aker, these lions faced away from each other, one guarding the sunset, the gateway to the underworld, and the other, the sunrise, the promise of a new day. They were the keepers of the horizon, the very guardians of yesterday and tomorrow, but their role went deeper. The deceased had to face a final judgment, the weighing of the heart. Their heart was weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth and justice. This single radiant feather determined their fate. A heart as light as this shining feather meant a soul worthy of eternal life. A heavy heart, burdened by misdeeds, faced a different destiny. This single feather, a symbol of cosmic order, held the key to immortality. Picture this, ancient Egypt, the Hall of Two Truths. Your soul stands before the gods, your heart being weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth and justice. But lurking nearby is a terrifying creature, a chimeric beast with the head of a crocodile, the forequarters of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. This is Emmet, the devourer of the dead. She isn't a goddess to be worshipped, but a demoness to be feared. If your heart, heavy with sin, outweighs the feather, your judgment is sealed. Emmet lunges forward to consume your heart, condemning your soul to eternal unrest, forever denied a peaceful afterlife. She was the ultimate enforcer of morality, a stark reminder to live a life of truth and righteousness. In the vast landscapes of ancient Egypt, one creature commanded ultimate respect, the mighty lion. But its power wasn't just felt in the physical world. It was a cornerstone of cosmic balance, especially in the afterlife. The Egyptians saw the lion as a symbol of the horizon, the meeting point of yesterday and tomorrow. Think about it. Two lions, seated back to back, represented this concept perfectly. One faced west, towards the setting sun and the land of the dead. The other faced east, towards the sunrise and the promise of rebirth. This powerful imagery, known as Aker, depicted the lion as the guardian of the gateway between death and new life. It was the lion's duty to ensure the sun could safely journey through the perilous underworld each night and rise again, renewed, each dawn. They were the ultimate protectors of this eternal cycle. Imagine yourself in the heart of ancient Egypt, standing before the scales of justice. This isn't a courtroom on earth, but the hall of two truths in the afterlife. Here, your heart is weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth and order. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, oversees the ceremony, but a more terrifying figure waits nearby. Meet Ammit, the devourer of the dead. With the head of a crocodile, the torso of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, she is the embodiment of divine retribution. If your heart, heavy with sin, outweighs the feather, Ammit devours it, and your soul is cast into eternal unrest. This terrifying judgment wasn't just a myth. It was a powerful moral compass for every ancient Egyptian, a constant reminder to live a life of balance and truth. Ever wondered what happens after the final judgment in ancient Egypt? After your heart was weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth? The answer lies in a powerful, often overlooked figure, the Aker, a double-headed lion god. Imagine two lions back to back. One faces west, towards the setting sun and the land of the dead, swallowing the sun each evening. The other faces east, towards the dawn and the promise of new life, spitting the sun back out each morning. The Aker guarded the very gateway between the underworld and the world of the living. For the ancient Egyptians, passing through the Aker's domain was the final, crucial step. It was the moment of true rebirth, a journey from the darkness of death into the eternal light of the afterlife. These majestic lions weren't just guardians. They were the very embodiment of the cycle of death and resurrection. In the sun-scorched lands of ancient Egypt, a powerful roar echoed not just across the desert, but through the very fabric of life and death. This wasn't just any lion. This was the embodiment of divine might, a guardian of the afterlife. Imagine the lioness, a fierce protector and a symbol of untamable power. Deities like Sekhmet, with her lioness head, were both feared and revered. She could bring plagues, but she could also heal and protect the pharaoh in battle. The Egyptians believed that this lioness power didn't end with death. Instead, it became a crucial blessing for the soul's perilous journey. In the tomb paintings and sacred texts, leonine figures stood as sentinels, ensuring the deceased would be reborn just as the sun rises each day. It was a promise of eternal protection, the ultimate blessing from the fiercest of goddesses. Ever wondered why lions not native to the Nile Valley were so revered in ancient Egypt? It's because they weren't just kings of the savannah. They were guardians of the cosmos itself. The Egyptians saw the lion as a powerful symbol of the sun god, Ra, due to its golden mane and fierce strength. But their role went even deeper into the realm of death and rebirth. Picture this, two lions seated back to back, guarding the horizon. One faces the setting sun, representing yesterday and death. The other faces the rising sun, symbolizing tomorrow and rebirth. This image, known as the Aker, represented the gateway to the afterlife. For the ancient Egyptians, the lion's roar wasn't just a sound. It was the echo of creation and the promise of a new dawn. Have you ever wondered why lions, creatures of the sun-drenched savannah, became guardians of the Egyptian afterlife? It's a tale woven into the very fabric of their cosmology. For the ancient Egyptians, the sun didn't just disappear at night. It journeyed through the underworld, a perilous realm, before being reborn at dawn. And who guarded this cosmic cycle? The twin lions Aker. One lion faced west, guarding the entrance to the underworld where the sun god Rhea would descend each evening. The other faced east, awaiting his triumphant return. They were the sentinels of yesterday and tomorrow, embodying the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. The lion's fierce power wasn't just for the hunt. It was a sacred force protecting the soul's journey through darkness and into the light of a new day. So the roar of the lion was the sound of the sun's perpetual victory over the night. Have you ever wondered why lions, creatures of the sun-drenched savannah, became so central to the mysteries of the ancient Egyptian afterlife? It wasn't just their strength. It was their connection to the sun, the ultimate symbol of rebirth. Imagine this. At the dawn and dusk of each day, two lions, facing opposite directions, would guard the horizon. They were Aker, the guardian of the underworld's entrance and exit. One lion watched the sun set, guiding it into the treacherous night, while the other awaited its glorious return at dawn. Their roar was believed to be the very sound that woke the sun god Re, ensuring a new day would begin. Beasts weren't just animals. They were cosmic guardians, protectors of the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. Stick around as we delve deeper into these magnificent beasts of mythology. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, the sunrise wasn't just a daily event, but a symbol of rebirth, guarded by a powerful lion deity? Meet the Lion of the East, one of two majestic felines who protected the passage of the sun god Re. Each morning, as Ro's solar boat emerged from the darkness of the underworld, the Lion of the East stood sentinel, ensuring his safe journey into the sky. This powerful guardian represented the dawn, hope, and the promise of a new day. He was the protector of yesterday, watching over the setting sun, while his counterpart guarded the rising one. Together, they symbolized the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth, a core belief in ancient Egyptian spirituality. So next time you see the sunrise, think of the mighty lion watching over it. Ever wondered what the ancient Egyptians believed happened after death? It wasn't just about pyramids and mummies. Imagine this: your soul, freed from its earthly vessel, embarking on an epic journey. But you wouldn't be alone. Your guide? A powerful, lion-headed deity. This journey followed the path of the sun god, Ra. Each night, Ra's sunboat would travel through the treacherous underworld, a realm filled with challenges and demons. The lion, a symbol of immense power and royalty, was the ultimate protector on this perilous voyage. These fierce lion gods, like Aker, who guarded the gates of the underworld, ensured the sun could rise again, bringing with it light, life, and the promise of rebirth. For the deceased, successfully navigating this nightly journey with Re meant being reborn with the dawn, achieving eternal life among the gods. Have you ever wondered what happens after we draw our last breath? For the ancient Egyptians, this wasn't an end, but a transition. And guarding this profound journey was a powerful, often overlooked figure, the lion. In the vast, sun-scorched deserts, the lion was the undisputed king, a symbol of fierce power and regal authority. But their role went far beyond the earthly realm. They were seen as guardians of the horizon, the very points where the sun would rise and set each day. This daily cycle of the sun's death and rebirth mirrored their beliefs about human life. The lion god Aker was often depicted as two lions back to back, one facing west towards the sunset and the underworld, the other facing east towards the dawn and rebirth. They didn't just guard the physical world. They held the keys to eternity itself, protecting the soul's passage through the darkness and back into the golden light. What secrets did they protect? Join us as we uncover more. Scene opens with dramatic visuals of the sun setting over the desert, transitioning to dark torch-lit tomb paintings. Have you ever wondered what the ancient Egyptians believed happened after death? It wasn't just about mummies and pyramids. A powerful, fiery guardian stood watch, the lion. In the vast, dark underworld, the deceased had to face terrifying trials. But the lion wasn't a monster to be feared. It was a symbol of divine power and protection. Imagine a journey through darkness, guided by the fierce roar of a lion god like Aker, who guarded the very gates of the afterlife. These majestic beasts represented the untamed power of the sun god Re. They were the guardians who ensured the sun could die each night and be reborn every dawn. By associating with the lion, the pharaohs and the dead hoped to share in this cycle, overcoming the darkness of death to be reborn into the eternal light. In the sun-scorched lands of ancient Egypt, a fearsome power was born from the eye of the sun god Re. This was Sekhmet, the lioness-headed goddess, whose name means the powerful one. She was the divine embodiment of vengeance and retribution, a warrior deity whose breath was the desert wind and whose roar could shake the very foundations of the earth. But Sekhmet was not just a force of destruction. She was also a master of healing, a divine physician who could cure plagues as easily as she could create them. This duality made her one of the most revered and feared deities in the Egyptian pantheon. She was the protector of the pharaohs in battle and the guardian who watched over the cycle of death and rebirth. Her fire wasn't just for destruction. It was a purifying flame, clearing the way for new life to begin. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, the soul had a golden form? It's true. The ancient Egyptians believed that after death, the soul, or Ba, could transform. One of its most powerful forms was the Aker, a double lion deity. Picture this, two majestic lions sitting back to back. One faces the setting sun, guarding the entrance to the underworld, while the other faces the rising sun, heralding rebirth and new life. These lions weren't just guardians. They were the embodiment of the horizon itself, the cosmic gateway between yesterday and tomorrow, death and resurrection. The deceased had to pass through this divine lion gate to be reborn with the morning sun. It was a symbol of incredible power, protection, and the eternal cycle of life. Imagine the vast, unforgiving desert of ancient Egypt. At dawn, as the first rays of sun stretch across the dunes, a powerful roar echoes through the silence. This isn't the roar of an ordinary lion. This is the sound of Aker, the lion god, guardian of the horizon where the sun rises and sets. In Egyptian mythology, the lion wasn't just a king of beasts. It was a symbol of divine power, a gatekeeper between worlds. They believed that each day, the sun god Re journeyed through the underworld at night, protected by lion deities who guarded the gates of morning and evening. These weren't just myths. They were a profound way of understanding the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Join us as we uncover the secrets of these majestic guardians. Have you ever wondered why lions, creatures of the sun-drenched savanna, became central figures in the shadowy world of the ancient Egyptian afterlife? It wasn't just about their fierce power. To the Egyptians, the lion was a symbol of cosmic order and eternal cycles. They watched lions hunt at dusk and dawn, the liminal times between day and night, and saw a parallel to the journey of the soul between life and death. The twin lions, known as Aker, guarded the horizons, protecting the sun god Ra on his nightly journey through the underworld. This made the lion not just a fearsome predator, but a divine guardian, a gatekeeper ensuring the sun would rise again, and that every soul would have a chance at rebirth and renewal. It was a hymn of eternity, sung through the roar of a lion. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, lions weren't just kings of the savannah, they were masters of the afterlife? Imagine the sun rising and setting each day. For the Egyptians, this wasn't just a natural event, it was a divine journey. The lion god Aker was the gatekeeper of this cycle. He was depicted as two lions, back to back, one facing the sunrise and the other the sunset. They guarded the entrance and exit to the underworld, ensuring the sun could be reborn every morning. This powerful imagery connected the lion directly to the endless cycle of death and rebirth. So, every time you see a sunrise, think of the cosmic lion that the ancient Egyptians believed was guarding that very moment of new life. Have you ever wondered why lions were so revered in ancient Egypt? It wasn't just because of their strength. To the ancient Egyptians, the lion was a powerful symbol of the sun and royalty, a true guardian of the cosmos. Think about it. They saw lions as the ultimate protectors of both the living and the dead. This divine connection is most beautifully captured in the concept of the solar crown. Many deities, including the fearsome goddess Sekhmet, were depicted with the head of a lioness, crowned with a blazing sun disk. This wasn't just a fancy hat. It represented the raw, untamable power of the sun itself. This solar energy was believed to ward off chaos and darkness, ensuring the sun would rise again each day, guaranteeing life's eternal cycle. The lion wasn't just a king of the beasts. It was a keeper of daylight and a symbol of rebirth. Have you ever wondered what the ancient Egyptians believed happened after death? It wasn't just about pyramids and mummies. They envisioned a perilous journey through the underworld, guarded by a fearsome yet vital creature, the Aker. Imagine two lions seated back to back, one facing the sunset, representing yesterday, and the other facing the sunrise, symbolizing tomorrow. Between them lies the sun disk, the very symbol of Ra, passing through the dark tunnel of the night. This powerful image was known as the horizon of the heart. The Aker lions were the guardians of this crucial passage, protecting the soul of the deceased as it traveled from death towards rebirth. They were the gatekeepers of eternity, ensuring the cycle of life, death, and resurrection continued forever. It's a fascinating look into a belief system that saw death not as an end, but as a new beginning. Ever wondered why lions were so revered in ancient Egypt, a land we often associate with cats and crocodiles? It's because the lion was no mere animal. It was a powerful symbol of the eternal cycle of life and death. Picture this: the sun setting in the west, a daily death, only to be reborn with a powerful roar in the east each morning. The Egyptians saw the lion in this cosmic drama. They were the guardians of the horizon, the keepers of the gateways to the underworld. The twin lions, known as Aker, would guard the entrance and exit of the duat, ensuring the sun god Ra's safe passage through the treacherous night. So the next time you see a sphinx, remember, it's not just a mythical beast. It's a guardian, a symbol of royal power and the eternal promise of rebirth. A timeless roar echoing through the sands of eternity. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, the setting sun didn't signify an end, but the start of a perilous journey? As the sun god Re descended into the underworld each night, he wasn't alone. His protectors were lions, powerful symbols of strength and royalty. The Egyptians saw the lion not just as a hunter, but as a guardian of the cosmic order. Specifically, the deity Aker, depicted as two lions back to back, guarded the entrance and exit of the underworld. One lion faced west, watching the sun set and enter the world of darkness. The other faced east, awaiting its glorious rebirth at dawn. This powerful imagery represented the entire cycle of death and resurrection, a core belief for the ancient Egyptians. For them, the lion was the ultimate guardian, ensuring that every sunset would be followed by a new sunrise. Have you ever stood before a statue of a lion and felt a shiver of ancient power? In ancient Egypt, this wasn't just a feeling. It was a profound truth. The lion wasn't merely the king of the beasts. It was a divine guardian, a bridge between the world of the living and the realm of the gods. Today, we journey back thousands of years, not just to look at dusty relics, but to feel the heartbeat of a civilization that saw the lion as the sacred keeper of life, death, and rebirth. Forget what you think you know about pharaohs and pyramids for a moment. We're about to uncover the story of the true roaring heart of ancient Egypt. The Egyptian landscape itself tells the story. The deserts, vast and powerful, were the lion's domain. Egyptians observed these magnificent creatures and saw more than just predators. They saw protectors. This is why you find lion imagery guarding the most sacred places, from temple gates to royal thrones. They weren't just decoration. They were active spiritual barriers. The twin lions, known as Aker, were especially significant. Facing opposite directions, one looked to the west, where the sun died each day, and the other to the east, where it was reborn. Together, they guarded the horizon, the very gateway to the underworld and the path of resurrection. They literally held the cycle of existence in their paws, ensuring the sun could rise again and that the souls of the deceased could safely navigate their journey. This divine connection wasn't just symbolic. It was woven into the very fabric of their gods. Think of Sekhmet, the lioness-headed goddess of healing and destruction. Her breath was said to be the desert winds, and her power could bring either plague or protection. To appease Sekhmet was to respect the untamable forces of nature. The pharaoh himself was deeply linked to the lion's might. Often depicted as a sphinx, the body of a lion fused with a human head. This wasn't just propaganda. It was a statement of divine right, showing the pharaoh possessed both human intelligence and the lion's sacred strength, making him a worthy ruler on earth and a powerful entity in the afterlife. The lion was the ultimate symbol of royal authority and divine power, a protector of both the king and the cosmos. Across the sands of time, the lion's roar still echoes through the tombs. It reminds us that death is not the end. It is a passage watched over by sacred power. The Egyptians believed that to pass into the next life, you needed courage, strength, and a fierce protector to guide you through the darkness. The lion was that protector, a timeless symbol of the soul's enduring power. And perhaps, within us all, there sleeps a lion, waiting to awaken at the horizon of eternity. If you felt the spirit of the lion in these ancient sands, follow this channel to journey deeper into the hidden soul of ancient Egypt. Thank you for watching.